Thanks for joining our monthly community webcast. I'm Jürgen Kress, part of the Oracle ODA and Integration Product Management team to support you as a partner. In case you missed one of our webcasts, on-demand recordings are available. For details, please see our monthly community newsletters. In today's presentation, we will introduce Oracle Digital Assistant, the Oracle Chatbot, and how it works with Service Cloud. With me on the call are from the CX team, Jeremy Campbell. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Jürgen. Thanks for having me.
And Phil Whitwell. Hi, Phil.
Hi, how you doing?
And from the Digital Assistant team, Martin Chavez. Hi, Martin.
Hi, Jürgen. Thanks for having us on.
And Joe Hawk. Good morning, Joe.
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, everyone.
Please feel free to post your questions via the conference chat anytime, and we will answer them at the end or use Twitter, #PaaSCommunity. Slides are available at the community workspace. Please do tweet and blog about products and services which are available today. Please do not blog about roadmap and future services. Objective of the call is to introduce Oracle Digital Assistant, our chatbot solution. Pre-bid skills offer an out-of-the-box solution for Service Cloud. This solution can be extended by partners or custom solutions can be built on the Oracle Digital Platform. So let's get started. So we will start with an Oracle Digital Assistant overview after some short community announcements, and then we will give you details about digital assistants for Service Cloud and finish with a demo. For customers, we are publishing now a monthly newsletter. You can read the latest October edition of the newsletter at tinyurl.com/ODA October 2020. Please subscribe yourself and invite your customers to receive our monthly updates on Digital Assistant. We also welcome you to submit content. For partners, we run hands-on trainings. Digital Assistant for Service Cloud in October in the US, Human Capital Management and Digital Assistants also in the US in November, and Service Cloud and Chatbots in Asia in November, and something new, Oracle Transportation Management and Chatbots. For details, please visit our website and register for an upcoming hands-on training. If you cannot attend one of our upcoming trainings, we would like to invite you to attend a free online training, including a free certification. As a follow-up of the trainings, we recommend the implementation exam. For details, please visit the Competency Center at oracle.com. With this short introduction, I would like to hand over to Martin. Martin, thank you for joining the webcast.
Yeah, thanks very much, Jürgen. And thanks to everybody for joining. So what we thought we'd do is kind of break this down into sort of two broad sections. Some of you coming to this topic might know nothing about Digital Assistant. So we're going to start off with just a little bit of background about what Digital Assistant is before we dive into the sort of more detail around Digital Assistant works with CX Service. And that's why I'll hand over to Jeremy to be able to do that. But myself and Joe will talk about Digital Assistant initially. So what is Digital Assistant, Oracle Digital Assistant? It's our AI-powered platform for building conversational experiences. That sounds like a very grand way to say something, doesn't it? Introduce something for it. But what would have perhaps been known as a chatbot once upon a time has evolved massively. So we can now build very much more natural conversational experiences that we can deploy on multiple channels and basically give a kind of much more modern feel and interaction to applications. The reason we talk about chatbots still is because people still call them that, but we feel that they've evolved massively. So our original product was called a chatbot platform, and we renamed it to Digital Assistant because we added a whole bunch of new features that enabled the chatbot to be sort of multi-purpose, sorry, the Digital Assistant to be multi-purpose instead of the old single-purpose bots that you used to get, the very simple chatbots. Where it's multi-purpose, it's proactive, it can reach out to the end user when a certain situation happens and actually start the conversation. We can do much more natural conversations now, not just sort of long, complex sentences that you would type in, but also through voice. So we've evolved massively from the basic days of chatbots through now to digital assistants. And why is digital assistant being popular? Well, it's quite simple, really. I mean, it's because we're all kind of mobile aware these days. We go everywhere with our mobile and use mobile services all the time. But if you're going to use an app, you have to download it. You have to find that app, and you have to kind of make sure it works with you. You've always got your mobile in your pocket. It's there all the while. We can run on Teams, we could run on Slack, which would be your mobile apps. We could run on Facebook, we could be on WhatsApp, for example, or we could be on your mobile website. All of those could be on your mobile or on your desktop, whichever device you're using. And because we're everywhere, you really want that to be a very natural experience. So you can have a natural conversation. You don't need to learn how to use a digital assistant because it's a conversation. And if you're anything like me, you're probably taught how to do a conversation by your parents when you were very young. So conversations come naturally to us all. And because of that kind of ubiquitous access, we want it to be there 365 days a year, 24/7. So it's always on, always there, unlike the human equivalent. If you're running a call center or an interaction center, sometimes they have to close when there's nobody there, but the bot can be there all the time. We could be on multiple channels. I mentioned some of them already, but we could be on multiple channels at once. So again, a human operator might be able to manage the phone or maybe web chat, but the bot could be on voice, could be on the web, could be on social, could be anywhere. And it's a consistent experience. No matter which channel you come into, it'll obviously adapt to present information in the correct way, but it's always giving the same answer. It's always very predictable. So it's one interface for all those services, no matter where you're coming from. So I have a feeling we're going to be diving into some kind of terminology. So I thought this slide would be really good to kind of explain to you what actually is inside a digital assistant and how these things work. If you imagine that your digital assistant you've deployed, over time, you've added more and more skills to it. So these kind of hexagons in the middle describe all the sort of skills that you might have created or you might have got from Oracle. So you basically assemble a set of skills, and any one of those skills could talk to any more, one or more back-end systems. So you might have some talking to CX, some talking to your ERP system, that sort of thing, presenting information or delivering transactions into your collection of skills. Your end users will access those skills through the digital assistant, through whichever channel which has been configured for them. So some of the key pieces of terminology, skills I've mentioned. The skill is the basic building block. That's where our AI and machine learning has the most value. And that's where the conversation is driven from. The digital assistant is like a master bot. That's the concierge that directs users' inquiries to the appropriate skill. And then we connect the digital assistant, all the skills to a particular channel. And inside the platform, you'll also find a skill store. So lots of pre-built templates or out-of-the-box skills from Oracle already available in the skill store that you can combine together under your own digital assistant and deploy. So this is a little bit more about that routing, some of the value. And this is one of the key things we think differentiates a digital assistant platform from a very simple chatbot platform. If you imagine you've got multiple skills here, one dealing with job offers, another dealing with benefits, another one dealing with procurement, you don't want to have to give your end users 3 different places to go to talk to your digital assistant or to these individual skills. This way, all your users go once to the digital assistant, they ask their questions there, and the digital assistant will understand what they're asking and route them to the appropriate skill. So they have one place to go to on one consistent interface. It also means you can jump around, which is what makes it much more natural and much more human-like. You know, when you're talking to somebody about one topic, you might jump very quickly onto another topic. And that's exactly what the digital assistant will let you do. One minute you can be asking a question about job offers. Then you might ask, what are the benefits associated, which would be in a different skill. But the end user doesn't have to know that these are all in different skills. And you get a very seamless and very natural conversation experience because of the way this works. So Joe, why don't you just talk briefly about some of the customers who are using the platform today?
Yep, sure, will be happy to. So the first one, actually, so before I go into the customers, I do want to acknowledge that, the customers that you're seeing here, they're largely the great work by our partner community. And Comm Medicine is one such example. Comm Medicine is a large utility company based in the Chicago area. It's one of the several companies under the umbrella company Exelon, which is the largest utility group in the U.S. And Comm Medicine itself has over 4 million customers. And what they wanted to do is really improve and focus on customer service. And Comm Medicine and Exelon has worked with a great partner, SoftBank, to create a digital system for utility that allows the customer to report outages, pay bills, and answering commonly asked questions that has knowledge integration. Comm Medicine is a Service Cloud customer, and there's a great seamless handoff between the digital assistant and the live agent. If I say anytime I need to go and talk to an agent where there are certain escalations, will automatically hand the conversation to the live agent. So again, great digital assistant and a great example of how digital assistant complements Service Cloud to provide next level customer service. Another customer and another example of the digital assistant integration with the Service Cloud is Office Depot and Office Max. Again, this is a great work by one of our partner, Fishbowl Solutions. And as you know, Office Depot is a leading retailer in the US for office supplies and office equipment and so forth. And what they're able to do is achieve 20 to 30% annual savings on live chat resources. Just, I think a lot of your customers, when they implement Service Cloud, they implemented Live Agent, and which provides really great service, but the customer needs to staff it, and sometimes it's very expensive to staff it 24/7. Office Depot is able to divert a significant amount of the calls into the digital system to have handle certain questions, and we're able to achieve 20 to 30% of annual savings on live chat resources, which, as you can imagine, is very significant, right? The most expensive cost for running a call center, a contact center, is, well, agents. All right. And because they're able to also divert a good number of calls, the call waiting time went down. So the same amount of people, even less people, were able to handle more requests, and the request wait time goes way down. And also the digital assistant helps and interjects opportunity for cross upsell during the interaction. Hey, are you interested in this offer for for 1,000 bundles of paper, for example? Or we don't use paper, a lot of paper anymore, maybe 100 new mouses for your office. All right, and next is, this is not just for US, this is Hermes, based in UK. No, they're not the French fashion company, rather they're the package delivery company in UK that delivers hundreds of millions of parcels per year. And they're the primary delivery company for Amazon in UK. Digital Assistant, and actually Hermes is one of the earliest customer for Oracle Digital Assistant. And they're able to achieve roughly 40% of the call diversion and they used to have horrible, terrible wait times for live agent, and a customer who goes in simply wants to, for example, check their delivery status, or, change their delivery details, maybe, or leaving delivery instructions. They just have to go to live agent, and that resulted in terrible wait time. And what digital system is able to do is divert roughly 40% of the calls, and able to handle these queries within seconds using Oracle Digital Assistant, and also improve the customer service by providing around-the-clock 24/7 self-service experience through the conversational user interface. And Hermes continues to be a great customer, great references, and I believe they're live for almost 2 years now. And they also implemented the live agent chat integration, knowledge integration, and so forth. So another great example of how digital system working with Service Cloud can provide top-notch customer experience.
Yeah.
Is that it?
To give you a background on what the functionality is. So why don't I hand over to Jeremy now to talk about how digital assistant is actually working with the CX suite.
All right, I'm Jeremy Kemble, and I run some of the product management side on the CX service team. And I'll sort of drill into some of the functionality that Martin and particularly Joe talked about in terms of the integrations between digital assistant and CX service. Let me start just a tiny bit in terms of setting up how we talk about the CX service solution and then the architecture that surrounds it. For those of you who've done Service Cloud or CX service implementations, there's a number of important components that are part of a full-fledged service implementation, from the contact center desktop to digital customer service, and then some of the services that power that, from knowledge to intelligent advisor, which used to be called Oracle Policy Automation. And then, of course, we have some field service applications for industries that need to actually roll a truck. We sort of sit that, my CX-centered view of the world here, that sits inside a wider set of CX properties in a portfolio across sales, service, marketing, also including a bunch of back end and back office systems that might drive certain interactions around, again, order status or availability of products or what have you in the supply chain side. And to Martin's earlier point, Digital Assistant has skills across all of these applications, right? To be able to engage with field service, to be able to engage with, some of the other CX properties here. But we're going to focus today on, what can happen when you combine some of these applications that sit in our SaaS portfolio, and in this case, particularly CX service, with some of these underlying technology platforms, right, that sit in the Oracle PaaS portfolio. So here we're going to talk about, right, what we call the digital trifecta, which is how do we bring digital assistant, sorry for using the word chatbot, guys, how do we bring digital assistants combined into the service ecosystem? How do we combine digital assistants with knowledge assets, digital assistants with these rich sort of intelligent advisor processes and interviews? So if you hear the term digital trifecta, this is what Oracle marketing means when it says the digital trifecta. It's the CX service components deeply integrated and working well with digital assistant. So why did we do that, right? Why do we think this is important? We do think this is differentiated. We're not seeing this solution delivered in this way across other vendors. It gets back to sort of what customers expect, as well as the way the service organizations deploy, right? As Martin and Joe mentioned, right, customers expect instant service across any channel these days, right? Digital Assistant is a fantastic tool to do that, right? It's on all the time. It's conversational, so it's available across, a number of these, these new conversational endpoints and the messaging platforms, collaboration platforms, right? Or just, as part of a front end of the web chat solution that we're going to talk about today. Right? Customers expect a consistent answer across whatever channel that comes from. And our deploying organizations expect a single way to manage all of those answers. And this is our sort of class-leading knowledge solutions in the CX service portfolio, right? How do we make sure that customers get consistent answers? How do we make sure that agents deliver consistent answers, regardless of channel, regardless of time of day, regardless of entry point? Again, that's our foundational knowledge solutions. And then how do we make sure customers get deeply personalized service? They reach decisions, the organizations consistently reach decisions about those customers, right? Do I qualify for relief? Do I qualify for my loan? Am I within the return authorization window for my product? This is the product formerly known as Oracle Policy Automation, now called Intelligent Advisor. Right? How do you author these dynamic, complex flows and interviews to personalize that response? And then how do we make sure that, again, that's a consistent response, whether you're doing that on a mobile device, on a web channel, or now over a digital assistant as well? All right, I want to make one more sort of walkthrough on a slide, and then I'll get to a demo. I'm going to go through the basic user journey here, because there's one point that sometimes gets lost in the digital trifecta storyline. So the trifecta storyline is about 3 products. But we also really want to make the point that we are delivering our digital assistant deeply embedded within the rest of the service process. Joe and Martin both referred to customers who've deployed integrations into the live chat solution. So I want to talk about that in a little bit more detail. So this is a very, very simplified user journey. We've got our customer on the left, again, coming in on any number of these potential conversational channels these days. But depending upon the interaction type, right, if you have a customer who is on your website looking at the account cancellation page, you might want to do something different with that customer than if you have someone who's just on the order status checking page. And so all of our customers and the partners who deploy our service solutions invest pretty heavily in the decisioning about what to do with inbound interactions, right? So when you call a contact center, there's a lot of back-end interaction happening, a lot of back-end data collection and decisioning happening to determine what to do with your request. The same is true over all the digital channels. So we collect all that information about the interaction to date, about the user, and the service solution, CX Service, has some powerful decisioning tooling, which we generalize here to call service routing, right? Which will route that interaction to some number of queues, right? It will segment and route those inbound requests in some way and decide what to do with them. And so what we've done with our Service Cloud and Digital Assistant integration is we've built an integration that we call Digital Assistant as an Agent, or a digital agent integration, where we actually take the digital assistant, we map it to a Service Cloud agent record, and we put the digital assistant inside a CX service queue, right? So in this scenario, if you've got a queue for your VIPs, maybe there are no bots in that queue, right? If it's just account cancellations or high value customers or mortgage applicants, maybe you're going to route that to a live agent every time, right? Maybe you have other queues that have digital assistants that, you know, take priority inbound work or mix in with regular live agents. Or maybe you have some queues that are purely digital assistants, right? Off hours work or anonymous interactions or stuff that doesn't look like it's particularly, you know, necessary to have a live agent around, right? So this is a really important part of our strategy here, right? Use the service ecosystem and the contact center decisioning that you have in place and plug digital assistants into that to work very effectively, right? Optimize the work across the live agent pool and across the digital agent pool, right? The example from Office Depot, right? Take those simple, easy to answer, easy to automate interactions, get those resolved by digital assistants, right? And route the stuff that needs a human agent, you know, to a human agent. So we call this as an agent routing. And then if you've done our service implementations before, you'll know that we have a set of services that sit behind you know, all of our interactions, again, around knowledge, around a set of dynamic guides or decisions and intelligent advisor. All of those tools are available both to our agents as well as to most of our digital channels. And those tools are now also available to our digital agents. And that's what we're going to demo you today, right? So if a digital agent picks up a piece of work, that digital agent now has access to our knowledge repository, our knowledge backends, as well as, you know, the guiding and decisioning tools that exist within CX Service. All right, with that, I'm going to walk through a quick end user facing demo, and then I'll hand over to Phil, who will do a bit of show and tell of how we actually implement these things. All right, so I am out on, you know, arbitrary demo website here. In this case, it's a coffee brand, coffee show and tell, and we've, you know, placed a little widget on a page. And again, for those of you who might be familiar with some of the service implementations, right, there is, you know, potential background event and rules collection already happening, right? So this user's been on this page, they're maybe logged in, maybe they're not, they've been clicking around. We're collecting all that information in service, and we're making a determination about what to do with this request, right? In this case, we're doing a very simple request. We're just offering this person a chat interaction, right? We're going to collect a little bit of information up front, right? What's the status of my order, a little bit of email information. And now we're going to do, you know, a pretty interesting thing. So based upon all the characteristics of the interaction so far, maybe what the user's been clicking on or looking at, based upon the question that they asked, and maybe some more information or lookup that we did about the name, we have used, again, that sort of routing infrastructure to take this interaction, route it through the CX service routing engine, and we have put this inside a queue, and this work is being served by a digital agent, right? So, right, we've got our digital agent introducing themselves. We already know what the question was. So we're doing an intent match in digital assistant against that question. We know who the user is based upon the email. So we're immediately into the flow already, right? So again, this is a show and tell of how it works to have the digital agent plugged into the Service Cloud ecosystem, as well as beginning to be a demo of digital assistant itself. So this is a 3-act play. This is play number 1, digital assistant sort of by itself. All right, so in this case, we were able to look up the open orders from a backend system and, you know, provide the user a little bit of information about their order status. This is the Hermes use case, 40% of their chat volume, you know, largely on this and a couple of adjacent use cases. All right, so pretty simple interaction so far. Digital assistant, on its own, running through its own conversation flow. Act 2, we're going to have this user ask another question about return shipping. All right, now I, as an end user, am continuing to just have a simple conversational flow, right? I'm still in this single little chat widget. In this case, it's web chat, but this could be, Messenger or any other mobile sort of app. And here we've got information coming back in a couple of cards. And what the user doesn't actually know and doesn't particularly care about is that this information is coming back from our knowledge backend, right? So something like shipping costs or shipping rates might be information that a service deployment would commonly store in their knowledge base. And so the digital assistant has actually gone out to the knowledge base in the backend and returned, the results that are most relevant to the query that the user just had, right? So Act 2, right, was knowledge integration. We're now going to go to Act 3, right? User knows enough about return cost. They want to go ahead and start a return. So digital assistant, again, is managing all this interaction and conversation flow. It matches someone looking for starting a return. And in this case, we've actually identified an intelligent advisor or policy automation interview that is an RMA process, right? So again, that might be the type of process that was defined in Intelligent Advisor. If you were to access Intelligent Advisor directly from a web channel, you could have the same interview, right? We're going to walk a user through an RMA process, although in this case, digital assistant is, again, front-ending the interaction, handling all the NLP, handling all the back and forth, but the logic for this actually sits inside Intelligent Advisor. All right, so we're going to walk someone through an RMA process really quickly. All right, in this case, I want to return my coffee machine. And again, this logical flow was defined in another one of our service systems, right? And digital assistant is essentially sort of concierging this interaction, handling some NLP over the top, as you can see here with the date. But we're walking through a logical flow defined in Intelligent Advisor. And here I get my return receipt. Again, all of this could be delivered identically out of the Intelligent Advisor components. But in this case, as a customer and as a user, I've had a sort of single clean conversational flow. What they don't know is that we were actually using the appropriate systems in the back end to deliver that experience. All right, we're going to keep rolling forward, right? Everybody talked already about the agent integration, but there are lots of times when you might be in a digital interaction with a digital assistant, need help from a live agent. So here I've asked for a live agent because we were already using a digital agent inside a service queue. We have the entirety of the service history here. We know who the user is, so we can show all of our previous service interactions with this customer. And I'm now acting the role of a live agent, having a little bit of a back and forth on the return. And as Joe mentioned with the Office Depot, we've got opportunities to do other things here as a live agent. In this case, right, the CX service application has full integration to a variety of other interaction types. And so I'm just going to close out here with a quick escalation to a video interaction, just to show that that's possible because I'm now fully within the regular sort of live agent interaction. And I can offer the customer an alternative to their coffee machine return. All right, that's my multi-act play, right? Winding together the most appropriate sort of service solutions from knowledge to chat to Intelligent Advisor, overlaying this intelligent conversational engine that can handle its own interactions, but also know when to reach out for help or reach out either to other service systems or to a live agent for assistance. I, as an end user, had a very clean, consistent interaction. All right, with that, I am going to hand over to Phil, who is going to show some of the how-to of the new components that exist within Digital Assistant itself that drive some of those integrations into CX Service.
Okay, thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, so I'm going to be focusing on showing you the back end of sort of how this is put together. So there are two new system components that we're making available. So the first was released in the 20.8 release, which is the knowledge piece that Jeremy demonstrated before, and I'll briefly do again here, sort of from a less glamorous demo, but showing you actually the back end. And then in 20.10, we release a system component for Intelligent Advisor that allows customers to hook up to their existing Intelligent Advisor interview flows or generate new ones. But the idea is that they can reuse a lot of the assets that they already have. Okay, so the first thing then to show is the actual background. So sort of popular demo at the moment is the COVID-19 rules, so returning back to work. So there's Intelligent Advisor is a piece of kit that allows you to write rules. Those rules can then drive an interview flow. So we have some rules set up here about whether the employee can return back to work, and there's some simple yes/no questions, and then some more complicated questions if they've been holiday outside the UK, and then we need to know about their quarantine days. And this is obviously a good candidate for a rules-driven approach, because these rules change at the moment very frequently, and now the quarantine list is longer, and I don't think we can go to Wales at the moment in the UK. So anyway, yeah, I'll then sort of just I won't focus too much on Intelligent Advisor. I want to sort of focus how this integrates into ODA and then creates a digital assistant. But I'll just briefly show here how the rules work, so we can test these rules before we deploy them out. So if the employee has a dry sore throat, first question, and straight away the employee cannot return to work, because that's one of the key criteria. And if we come back, so we'll run through the interview a bit further, and then we get on to the holiday questions. So yeah, employee's been on holiday, been to Portugal. Then we need to know about because they've been to Portugal, we need to know about the period that they've been in quarantine before they return to work. So if we pick here a date last Wednesday, then the employee cannot return to work, and the details then there because of the not being in quarantine for long enough. Okay, so the next stage is then either these are assets that you already have and the customer already has an Intelligent Advisor, or they're rules that you want to so I'll switch to that. Just 1 second. Okay, so switch to the Intelligent Advisor Hub. So I just log in here, and we can see that we've got various COVID deployments. The key thing with these is that the existing interviews can also be deployed as a chat service. So it's making use of Intelligent Advisor. Perhaps they're already in an interview set up, a web-based interview, and you're reusing that deployment to make it available to chat. So it's all about maximizing the assets that you've got. Okay, and then what then that looks like from ODA side is within ODA we have the system component reference. So here is our system component, and it's referring to an Intelligent Advisor service. So if we have a quick look at what that looks like. So we've multiple tabs here. So basically this is just connection details into that deployment. So into those deployments. So it can then access any deployments that are available on this host, and then we go back to our skill. So we can then see that we are specifying the particular deployment around the COVID-19 demo. So if we just have a quick play with that. So we're just going to initiate OPA with a simple intent here, start OPA, and we can see and start to examine now within our tester the same level of detail we did for our web-based interview. So, how's the employee on fever? No. How's the employee on holiday? Yes. So we'll follow a similar flow to the one we did in the debugger. Been to Portugal. The advantage that we have in a chatbot is I don't keep track of dates, but I know that the employee returned last Wednesday. So if I can spell. So I can use natural language versions of the date to be able to do my input, and that's passed into Intelligent Advisor. So ODA is adding its smarts with NLP in the way that we can answer the questions. So we get the same result. Unsurprisingly, the employee cannot return to work. So just have a look a little bit, sort of how that's put together. So we match an intent to start OPA that comes into this component. It then has an existing deployment that it can match to. So one of the other bits that we've added is the ability to, if you're using Intelligent Advisor as part of a wider skill, so there may be some questions that are being handled up front. So you're going to know things like the assessment date, the assessor name, that you can have these have variables passed in. So Intelligent Advisor doesn't need to ask the same questions as if the flow already knows that data. So to demonstrate that, I'll just comment these two out and just show you that with the healthy eating flow. So again, a different deployment here for a healthy eating policy model. So we're being prompted for the guardian's name and family size. So if we say I've got 4 members in this household. Okay, so what that looks like then, if we put these back in, so we've obviously got 2 variables that are already being set here in the background for the assessment date and the assessor name. If I uncomment these 2, then we reset, and then we do our healthy eating again. Then we skip those first 2 questions. So then we're straight, the information has been passed in, and we don't have to repeat questions. So Intelligent Advisor can be used sort of more smartly. And that's sort of the emphasis for the system component, is been trying to make it more part of the ODA product, so it can use natural language, it can pass in variables within to that particular skill. Okay, so the last piece, so we have a knowledge search integration as well, which Jeremy showed with a number of articles. I just wanted to sort of show a little bit of sort of one of the common patterns that we do, that we use this for. So if you have an unresolved intent, so there is something that at the moment our skill doesn't know how to match, then that will pass on to the knowledge search. So again, we have a service name defined. So my GSE instance here. So if we go into our knowledge, so basically what this is doing is just making a connection into the knowledge search API here, so that we've got the basic details. It matches up on this name. So if in our skill we have something it doesn't know the answer to, so say it doesn't know how to tell me about oranges, I pass that in, it's saying I don't know the answer, so it's then doing a knowledge search. So we have this integration then to, at the moment, Knowledge Foundation, but we are working on other knowledge systems as well. So you can go and retrieve the very informative knowledge article that I put in earlier. So, okay. Yeah, and yeah, I think that was it in terms of to try and sort of demonstrate the system components that we were working on. So just sort of recapping here, the two new components that we have are one for Intelligent Advisor and one for Knowledge Search. And that Knowledge Search at the moment is for Knowledge Foundation, that allowing sort of reuse of assets that you have, both Intelligent Advisor and in Knowledge Foundation. Okay, that was the content that I had.
Okay, so thanks very much for that, Phil. Hopefully we've demonstrated to you the benefits of the digital trifecta. What Phil and Jeremy showed you was how we're actually automating that customer experience across multiple channels. We're using the conversational features of Digital Assistant to really give a really delightful, natural conversation experience on these digital agents. And it's very, very tailored and personalized to the end user. We've been looking at the data that they've generated by clicking around the website and using that to drive the conversation as well. So some great benefits of bringing all those three products together. We've left plenty of time for questions, which is unlike us.
Yeah, Martin.
So if there are any questions, Jürgen, we'll hand back to you.
Yes, please. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. So for all the partners, call to action. If you're not yet a member in the partner community, please make sure that you register now. As a community member, you receive the monthly community newsletter, invitations to our webcasts like today, and the hands-on trainings. We have a Digital Assistant customer newsletter. We would appreciate if you contribute content and make your customers aware that they also register, and please become a certified expert. If you would like to learn more about Oracle Digital Assistant, please visit oracle.com/DA, and free trials, including Oracle Digital Assistant, are available at oracle.com/tryit. So with that, we come to the question and answers. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. The first question is the dialog written in YAML, or is there also a visual configurator?
I guess I'll take that one. At the moment, it's mainly written in YAML. We do have a conversation designer tool that lets you kind of mock up the conversation in terms of what the user says, what the bot says, and that will generate the YAML for you. But developers tend to, once they've gotten used to it, actually prefer to use the YAML. There are some things coming, and watch this space in terms of a visual development tool.
Okay, we have a second question from an iPhone user. Do we have access for partner to check the delivery ODA for HCM with some trial subscription on any platform? So the first question is how to get a free trial. Joe, you want to take that? Martin or Joe, you want to take the question on the free trials?
Yeah, sure. I'll take a free trial. So a free trial for a digital assistant, easy to get. Just go to oracle.com/DA, digital assistant, and you'll find a button there that will say try it for free. What you end up with is I think $300 or equivalent of free credits, and you can fire up a digital assistant instance for that, and that would last you at least a month. So yeah, plenty of opportunity to try it out for free.
And if you work on a digital assistance project for human capital management, please make sure that you register for one of our upcoming hands-on trainings. There you can also get hands-on trained and you learn much more about it. Next question from Sarat. Is it possible to show the reason why the employee not able to return to work in Digital Assistant?
I guess that's related to HCM.
Well, that's probably the demo that I gave.
Okay, go for it then, Phil.
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. If you define that in the interview using intelligent advisor tools, that can be a PDF that's returned, or it can just be a simple decision statement. But yeah, it is. That's part of the system component, and it does allow you to do that.
Okay, next question from Tom. Where can the partner find more information on Service Cloud, and how can they get trained on the Service Cloud implementation?
Sorry, was that one for me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get Jeremy to send out some links at the end of the call in terms of Service Cloud training, but it isn't something I have access to at the moment.
Okay, question from...
Phil, is the contact there Gretchen? Is that who would be?
Yeah, that would also be a good contact, but yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to get trained on Service Cloud, please send an email to jürgen.kress@oracle.com and we will send you the training schedule. Yeah. There's a question from Anju. Can we set a webhook listener in custom components so the digital assistant can receive messages from third-party sites? Joe, you want to take that?
Could you repeat the question? It was
can we set a webhook listener in custom components so that the digital assistant can receive messages from third-party sites?
So I think okay. So I'll just answer it this way. If the question is, can we support third-party channels, more messaging applications? Yes, absolutely. You can do that using the generic webhook interface to interact with third-party. The messaging application not directly support it. Now, the other part of it, if the question is around, can you integrate with a non-service cloud, a live agent system? The answer is yes, you could do that as well, although it's not really the focus for this topic. But there's a framework that was written by one of our product manager that also allows it to connect and integrate with a third-party non-Oracle live chat like Zendesk or Salesforce. So if that's needed. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yep. So thank you very much for the excellent presentations. Thanks for the nice demos. That was impressive to see it as an end user and to get some insights of the backend. Oracle Digital Assistants for Service Cloud is, as you have seen from Joe Haug's presentation and customer examples, one of our most successful use cases, which brings a lot of benefit to customers and Service Cloud customers. So please make sure that you position it. If you want to learn more, please attend one of our upcoming hands-on trainings and please join the partner community. Thanks for attending today's webcast. Thanks to all partners and also thanks to the Oracle team. If you have questions, you can contact us. Please make sure that you take advantage of your Oracle Partner Manager. If you don't know who your Oracle Partner Manager is, you can easily find out at tinyurl.com/Oracle Partner. And if you have further questions on Service Cloud, feel free to reach out to Jeremy or Philip. And if you have questions around digital assistants, please feel free to contact Martin or myself. Thank you very much for attending.